Well, welcome back for today's Farm and Ranch News. Looking at those headlines today, the March World Egg Supply and Demand Estimates report is out, and it held few surprises with little reaction this time around. As expected, it had zero changes in U.S. ending stocks, while world ending numbers provided little moving news across the commodity sector. There was, as expected, no change in U.S. wheat ending stocks. World ending stocks of wheat fell modestly by 800,000 metric tons to a still record large 287.14 million metric tons. The projected season average farm price is also unchanged for wheat at $4.55 per bushel. Perhaps the most notable change was a 1 million metric ton increase in both Argentine and Brazilian soybean production, further extending the recent era of plentiful world grain and soybean stocks. And finally, the season average corn price received by producers was lowered 5 cents to $3.80 per bushel. Looking to other news now, the Department of Agriculture on Tuesday said there's progress in the implementation of the U.S.-China Phase 1 Economic and Trade Agreement despite the coronavirus. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue says China has taken several additional actions to reach its agriculture-related commitments. The actions include the signing of a protocol that allows the importation of fresh nectarines from California and the lifting of a ban on imports of U.S. beef and beef products from animals over 30 months of age. Additionally, China has updated its list of facilities approved for exporting dairy, infant formula, seafood, and more. China's new tariff exclusion process went into effect on March 2nd, and importers can now apply for exclusions from retaliatory tariffs. Perdue said USDA will continue to closely monitor China's implementation of the agreement that was signed on February 14th, but there has been some talk of letting that timeline of the Phase 1 trade deal be a little more flexible with the outbreak of the coronavirus. We'll be right back. A record-breaking performance in 2019, U.S. pork exports maintained a torrid pace in January, while beef exports were also higher year over year. The U.S. Meat Export Federation said beef exports posted modest growth in January, increasing 2.5% from a year ago in volume at 107,000 plus metric tons and a 5% in value at $672 million. Exports accounted for 13.1% of total beef production, down slightly from a year ago. And the U.S. Meat Export Federation says the release of the January data comes as the coronavirus is dominating news headlines, including those related to global trade. The CEO of USMEF, Dan Halmstrom, said the virus has had an impact on red meat exports, which will likely be evident in the February and March data. Finally today, despite volatile and uncertain market climate, interest appears to be growing in farmland purchases. Farmers National Company reports a small increase in land buying interest from individual investors. The recent market facilitation program, low interest rates, and the idea of farmland as a long-term asset appear to support farmland prices. Further, with the stock market volatile and low CD rates, investors are more willing to look for alternatives to invest in land and then leasing that to farmers and ranchers. Well, friends, that will do it for today's Farm and Ranch News. Have a great day, everyone.